Hi, I'm Alia.
Hi, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Nikita.
And our project is called The Wrap. To start, I would like to give you some background on our cultural site through our site analysis. Our site is located at Burj Dubai, overlooking the creek, one of the most cultural areas in Dubai. It is at the edge of the metropolitan area and the offshore space, giving it the perfect location for accessibility and nature at the same time. It's also at the center of Dubai. A short glance at the history of this area shows that it was dramatically changed from a fishing and pearl harbor to a wealthy business area after the discovery and selling of oil in the region. Due to this change and new businesses, many offices and companies began to spring up. This, however, didn't affect the history of the area at all. Instead, it helped show off the culture, especially through the contrast between the buildings around. On the right side, you see the beautiful historical buildings, made of mud bricks and stone, with wooden doors, while on the left side you see the post-modernistic buildings. It helped influence a lot of our concept. Also, as you can see, there are many special features on our site, mostly cultural, and we had to be aware of this and make sure not to block any special features. One of the most important features we had to be aware of and take into consideration was the long walking path that tied the whole area together. This amazing access point would work to our advantage if we played our cards right and could be used as an amazing entrance.
We use the sun and wind diagram to create a facade to shelter our building from harsh rays of sunlight and wind. In the vegetation diagram, you can see there isn't much vegetation around, so we incorporated it into our facade and building. In the acoustic diagram, we discovered which parts are the loudest and quietest to provide sound insulation within. The olfactive diagram helps us with discovering different smells within the area. Using the axis diagram, we understood where the main access points and transportation are to determine our entrances and access. The main and secondary roads in our circulation diagram determined where to put our parking entrance.
Each area has a balance between the voids and the masses, whereas the areas moving closer into the city have lesser open spaces. Similarly, in the density diagram, the buildings that are G+4 to G+6 on an average are taller than the two-story heritage side buildings, which creates a contrast between our surroundings. We had to adapt our building to blend with the commercial area and not overpower the heritage. The site consists of cultural, residential, mixed-use, commercial and governmental buildings. Some of the landmarks around our plots are the Dubai also banks like Central Bank, HSBC, Bank of Baroda, and main nodes of transportation that lead to our plot, the Kubeba bus, metro and water station. The wrap around the building is made of brick, which represents a part of the historical site. It acts as a protective shell to the modern building inside, replicating that the past and present are coexisting. It's a G+5 office building with an accessible roof. The concept of our building is mainly to create an open workspace by connecting all the floors with a relocating void. Putting slab lengths enabled us to have an accessible terrace on a few floors, which meant that we could have the experience of the outdoors blended with the interior of our building. We tested several options for slab thicknesses. During our design process, we clearly divided the spaces, the public and private areas, main circulation, access points, as well as connection to the surroundings and landscape. The following sketches show the concept of the void bringing in light from the top floor and mainly from the north and west facades. Our staircases were placed for the public and private use, and the height for each slab was decided. The basic zoning of our building is seen where the back of house includes the MEP rooms and the front of house is open workspace layout and terraces that enjoy the beautiful view of the creek.
Now I will talk about our plans. We used an open plan layout for our offices. In the plans, you can see the brick envelope, the shifting plates, the change in voids, and circulation. You can also see the use of nature on the interior and the exterior. We wanted to maximize open working space in the creek view by keeping our back of house to the right side and our enclosed offices to the back. We have balconies to bring in fresh air. Within our roof plan, we have a terrace roof garden. These plans are more specific and in detail, and you can see the proper structure of the brick envelope with the supporting trusses, amongst other details such as wall finishes and floor types within the plans. Within our vertical circulation diagram, you can see our main elevators, our core stairs, and our void stairs going through the length of the building. Our horizontal circulation circulates mainly around our voids and our back of house.
You can also see different densities of brick patterns on each facade. This is to protect from the sun at different areas. For example, the south facade in the back will have much higher density to protect from the heat and the sun exposure, while the front north facade that we are facing at the moment shows much less density and more exposed glass because it's already protected and shaded and will not be as exposed to the sun as the other facade, and also will allow people to view the lake from the interior at all points and all angles. Going further into our project, using the sections, you can see the ever-changing path of our voids, which is protected by the void roof, allowing for light to enter without the issue of direct exposure and heat entering. Also, you can see the shifting of our floor slabs, which are the same types of shifting as the voids, and allow people to have different angles and views for both our garden area and the lake right in front of us in the north facade.
In this conceptual early stage diagram, you can see our shifting slabs, the structure holding the facade, and the patterned brick envelope. In our detailed 3D section, you can see features of our building like the shifting plates, the detail of the brick envelope, and the truss structure behind. You can also see the integration of nature on the roof through planters and on the ground floor. This section shows the ceiling and floor detail clearly.
Here are some 3D renders.